Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture what we will do is that we are basically going to go ahead and design an application to understand the different types of activity states or different states of the activity life cycle. So if you go back to the code here, as you could see, we have absolutely nothing in the code here in the main activity. We just have the onCreate method, which basically allows us to set the layout of our activity when firstly the onCreate actually gets called. Now if you recall from the previous lecture, we have other methods as well, such as the onStart, onResume, onPause and everything like that. So in this lecture what we will do is that we will add all of those methods here, and we will see how those methods are going to be called or executed when we basically run our application. So what we will do here is that we will go ahead and add other methods as well. So the first method which we will add is the onStart method. So simply type in onStart, and when you type in on and hit enter, it's actually going to complete the code for you, which is one of the cool features of Android Studio, so that you don't have to type the entire code. So similar to the onStart method, let's also go ahead and add another method, which is the onResume method. So we'll type in onResume, and that actually added the onRestart method, which is also required. So we will keep that and add onResume as well. And the next methods which we want here is the onDestroy. So we will type onDestroy. And the final two things which we need is nothing but the onSave instance state and onRestore instance state. So we type onRestore instance state and finally onSave instance state. So once we have all these methods set up over here, the next thing which we need to do is that, as you could see, the methods contain no code. So we will not be able to find out which method gets called when. So in order to understand which method is called at what time, what we will do is that we will go ahead and we will add a certain sort of log message to these, so that when we actually run this application, we will be able to see that which of the following callback methods are called at what particular instance. So what we need to do now is that we have to create a log message separately, and as you could see from here, I have already created the log message. So I have typed in private static final string, which is going to be a string message, and I have named that message as tag, and we have typed in a simple message like a message over here. So now what you need to do is that you simply need to add this message to the log in each and every methods. So firstly we go inside the onCreate and type in log.i, and to this we pass in the message which is the tag message over here. So we type in tag, comma, and as this is the onCreate method, I am going to type in onCreate over here, end the statement with the semicolon, and we are good to go. Now I'm going to copy this line of code and I'm going to paste this thing in each and every method which we have over here. And what I'm going to do is that I'm simply going to change the inner message. That is basically, instead of having onCreate, I'm going to replace this with the name of each individual method, so that we understand that method is going to be executed. So this is going to be onStart, this is going to be onRestart, this is going to be onResume, this is going to be onDestroy, this is going to be onRestore instance state. So this is onRestore instance state, and the final one is going to be onSave instance state. Okay, so once this thing is done, we are pretty much good to go. So now the only thing which you need to do is that you need to run your application and test when and where these methods are going to be called. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to save the code and I'm going to run this application on my actual device, and at the same time I'm going to record the video so that you will be able to see what I'm able to see on my device. So the application is actually up and running on my device, and what you need to do now is that you need to go to the Android monitor, and as you could see, here is the place where our messages are going to be displayed. Now in order to check our message, what we need to do is that we need to go to this option right here. We need to go to edit filter configuration, and in here you need to name your filter as anything, let's say new filter, and then you need to type in this message tag over here, and when you hit OK, what that is going to do is that it's going to ignore all the other messages, and instead it's only going to have the messages with the tag, which is the message tag. So as you could see, we now have the onCreate, which basically states that the onCreate was called, then the onStart was called, and finally the onResume was called. So now I'm going to start recording my screen as well. And what happens is that if I hit the back button, as you could see, now the onDestroy gets called. Now let me go back and restart my application once again. And as you could see, when I restarted the application, again onCreate was called, then onStart was called, and onResume was called. Now what if instead of hitting the back button, I simply hit the middle button, which is the home button on my device? So when I hit the home button, as you could see, nothing happened. And when I go back to the application again we have the on restart. Instead of starting the activity, we had the on restart, then again we had the on start method, and then finally we had the on resume thing. Now what if I actually go to, let's say, some other application? So let me just go to one of my browsers, and again let me just come back to the application. And let me just again open my application. So as you could see, again we again have on restart, on start, and on resume. So this is how we were able to notice the different states of an activity. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys were able to understand how an activity switches from one state to another whenever we basically interact with that particular activity. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.